네, 안녕하세요. 브릿지바이오 Pavel인데요. 현재 사업개발 팀에서 일하고 있어요. 디렉터로 일하고 있습니다. Our company, as a relatively young Korean biotech company, has a lot of ambition to expand outside of Korea. One of the areas where I am most involved in and where I want to be the most focused in is ex-Korea business development. So we have a very talented team of BD personnel who work more on the domestic side of things. And particularly when we look at our clinical assets, whether it's the oncology assets or the UC or IPF, there's a very big market demand for each of these assets outside of Korea. And I primarily focus on facilitating the deals or co-relationships with ex-Korean companies for the development of our clinical assets, most particularly the oncology assets, BBT176 and 207. A lot of it is kind of an ongoing discussion between several different departments in our company, and to take each other's expertise and opinions and to focus it on one particular strategy for how we want to move forward. And when we look at any type of development strategy for any biotech asset, we have to follow the market trends as well as the demands that we see in industry. And I try to listen to what the market and industry tells us and share that information with our scientific team and management team and see if we can incorporate that information into our next steps of development. So speaking for the oncology assets, BBT176 and 207, there's a demand for a next generation EGFR TKI all over the world. Asia, it's very important territory in Asia and the US market as well. So my particular focus is on ex-Korea. So whether that be China or Japan or the US or Europe, I put all of my attention to those territories. So both BBT176 and BBT207 are fourth generation EGFR TKIs. 176 is focusing on the patients who have stopped responding to third generation EGFR TKIs such as osimertinib. And depending on when you take osimertinib, the patient's mutational profile can look different. So for the patients who took osimertinib as a second line after they took first generation or second generation EGFR TKIs, they often present with C797S containing triple mutations. And BBT176 is really exceptional in that setting for the patients who have these C797S triple containing mutations, for the patients who progressed on second line osimertinib. BBT207, on the other hand, was developed to have more of an enhanced efficacy profile for single driver mutations in addition to C797S containing double mutations. And these are the type of mutations that you normally see after patients take osimertinib from frontline. That's the main difference between the two. Our presentation went really, really well. That there were so many people coming by and asking us questions, and we had visits from the scientific community, we had visits from industry, from our competitors, which was very fun. So lots of dialogue that couldn't happen for the past 2 years as everything was virtual. So it was fantastic to be able to meet in person with all of the people involved in this space. Most people would definitely be interested in our efficacy data, for sure. So they want to see what BBT207 is, what is it working against, how is it different from 176, and they want to know how we compare to competitors. We see most of our competitors are limited to China, US. China and US is predominantly where most we see. We see one in Japan as well. And a lot of the competitors, what they're showing at the moment is still very early stage data. There is no yet a full, complete preclinical package of any of these assets at the moment. And when we look at the data that we already have for BBT207, we see that our activity for the different type of mutants that you see for single, double, etc. is much more broad spectrum than a lot of what our competitors are showing. So we're very happy to see that we still have a competitive edge over the new competitors and the existing previous competitors. We have our eyes set on the WCLC, going to be this August, and where we plan to present our clinical data for BBT176, which I think will be very exciting. And then shortly afterwards, we also plan to attend ASMO in September. I joined BridgeBio Therapeutics last year in 2021 of February, so it's been a little bit over a year now that I've been here. I entered as the BD director, and I think one of the things that stands out the most about my time at Bridge compared to potentially other companies is BridgeBio Therapeutics is a relatively new company. It's been around for about 7 years now, and we see just the amount that the company has been able to accomplish in those short 7 years. It's pretty large clinical pipeline. It's a recent IPO. It's groundbreaking historical licensing deals that it's done before as well, and its expansion to the US, and the list goes on. And all of these incredible accomplishments were done with a very small workforce. A lot of them at the time it was around 20 people, and now we're over 40 now, but nevertheless. And this speaks a lot about the capabilities of the workforce of the company. So I'm very honored to be working amongst such talented and capable people, especially also with such a ambitious and driven CEO. Right now, a lot of my time is being spent on our clinical assets, BBT207 and 176, and naturally my short-term goals are to find the best partner, out-licensing partner for these assets so they can be developed globally outside of Korea clinically, and then later on commercially as well. And then in addition to that, I also hope to find some exceptional assets to in-license to further grow our pipeline as it is.